Hi, and welcome to the Two Medics podcast. It's not even started and I've already messing up. So hi, I'm Thrushika Wardner. I'm a cardiology registrar subspecializing in intervention. We have another takeover episode, so Imran's still away. I'm delighted to announce that we have two co-hosts today.
Imran's really the glue, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's sweating.
Yeah, I know. Somebody take over. Go on, introduce yourselves, please.
Go on, Chris, you go first.
Well, I'm Chris. I'm a clinical physiologist in Bath, and I specialise in cardiac devices.
And I'm Chris. I'm Jamie, and I'm a GP down in Cornwall with a special interest in paediatrics.
Nice. Why do you think people mistake you guys so much? I don't think...
We literally don't look the same at all.
You don't look the same at all.
Or sound the same.
Or sound the same.
Well...
literally, the only thing you have in common... Well, you have a few things in common, but is that you go to the gym, right? That's like one thing.
Yeah.
And you like video games.
Generic white guys as well.
Yeah, I don't think you're generic white guys, so.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think we should call that out. I don't think it's cool to say you're both the same. You're definitely not the same person. But thank you so much for stepping in and helping me out here. You can see that I was thinking the other day, could I do the podcast by myself? And the answer is obviously no.
We're like your water wings in the water, just watching you drown. You'd be sinking under.
If you did it on your own, though, there'd be none of... I mean, the only reason that really got screwed up is because you can see us both staring at you, smiling, and then when you stumbled, we were so quick to go, oh, you fucked that up, mate.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have that if you did it on your own.
That's true.
Oh,
That's
no.
true.
We've already sworn.
Oh,
I know.
Yeah, we've had to bring on...
Well,
you stupid...
We should warn people that there might be a bit of swearing. Sorry about that, but I think it's worth it for having the kind of strength of personalities on. So thank you so much. So without further ado, there's a lot to talk about this week. I know I say that every week, but there is. Well, we thought we'd start with the tweet that's from Jonathan Enshi, and that was on the 26th of April. And it's a tweet of an Instagram story from Grual_family_chiropractic. And it's titled, "Can Chiropractic Save Lives? What can the power of one adjustment do?" And amazing, isn't it? So this is a tweet where they talk about how something happened to them on board a plane, but then they asked, "Is there a chiropractor on board?" And there they were. That was a moment, mate. Do you guys want to talk about what happened?
Gladly, it's absolutely incredible. The whole thing from start to finish is not true. Essentially, my take is that this man's clearly having some sort of medical crisis. There's a lot of highly trained people surrounding said individual, and this man then somehow makes a coronary artery, at least one, patent by adjusting some sort of spinal adjustment. But actually what he's done, he stood there, done nothing, and then taken a photo of a man without consent and put it on the internet.
Yeah, and it was kind of from the crotch end as well, which is unfortunate.
I know, it's like the least flattering photo.
Yeah, and the guy's got the look of utter fear in his eyes.
Yes, he's going, it's my penis out, it's my penis out, that man's taking photos. Yeah, because you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah. In any photo, that's all I'm thinking to myself, is my penis out.
I'm thinking it right now.
We're recording this video, actually, if people want to watch it on YouTube, so if you want to check if Jamie's penis is out, then that's where to go. But just reading through the text, it's amazing, isn't it? This person started experiencing a heart attack during the flight back we were on today. This guy, I can't believe he knew the person was having a heart attack without a troponin. That's amazing.
You just know. You just
no
know.
ECG.
Yeah, exactly. After 2 oxygen tanks down, I don't know, already my eyebrows were kind of higher up on my forehead. And then he's counted out, there's nothing left to do. As 5 MDs, 2 MTs, 1 nurse gathered around wishing the symptoms will get better. That's what we do. The pilot was contemplating an emergency landing after explaining to his wife how removing the interference in his nervous system can save his life. She gave me the consent to adjust her husband. that sounds wrong, doesn't it?
That's why, his penis was out before the adjustment.
But then the end, remember, you didn't choose chiropractic. Chiropractic chose you. You were called for a time like this. Amazing.
Surely you were called to fix some backs or to injure some kids.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever heard a nice story about a chiropractor? I don't think I ever have.
No.
And I know it's a big thing in America, and wasn't one of the characters in 2.5 Men a chiropractor? And that whole program was dreadful, so that's just an advert. isn't it, for it?
Yeah.
That show, I mean, just kind of going off on one, that seemed to have like a massive following. Also, what's that show with Sheldon? Where it's about nerds or something, right?
Oh, it's Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang
I
Theory.
can't stand
If you-
Big Bang
Yeah,
Theory.
what was that about?
If you took the laugh track away
not-
from that, it would not be funny. I mean, it isn't anyway. But
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
it's-
There'd
it's
be no
like,
actual
it's
nailed-on
poor
jokes. It's
quality.
essentially sort of 11 series of it's one long sort of really low-hanging penis joke that just never ends, and occasionally someone from Star Trek's in it.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, you had me at the low-hanging penis joke, but then now you've just said that someone from Star Trek's in it. Now I am actually a bit interested in it.
Oh, Will Wheaton. Was he in Star Trek?
Oh,
Will
he was.
Wheaton.
Anyway, so Jamie, have you ever been to a chiropractor?
I have never been to a chiropractor. I remember when I was younger, before doing medical school, I went to an osteopath. My mum told me to go to an osteopath for some reason. And basically, all he did was twist me over so everything popped like bubble wrap. And I was in quite a lot of pain afterwards.
Right.
And I never went back because I was like, this is the most awful
really
thing.
hurt.
Because he literally threaded his arms through my legs.
Oh,
And
wow.
another arm on the other side, and just twisted me. So, I mean, I couldn't feel my feet for a week. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
Well, actually, I'm sure there are some, because I know in America, isn't osteopath a big thing? You have MDs and you've got DOs.
Is that what that is?
I think so. That's what it is. So actually, I'm gonna get rinsed for this now. This is how I'm gonna get cancelled.
Let it never be said that we don't do our
now.
research before we start discussing a subject.
Oh god. Should we stick to chiropractors because it's easy to joke about?
Yeah, let's just drag them instead. Yeah.
Because that's ridiculous. The thing is, though, like I kind of there was that news article not that long ago about someone who had a stroke, right, from a neck one. That's the common one that you hear about. And it's even I remember like medical school it being like a question. Someone's been to chiropractor, and then they have a vertebral artery dissection, something like that, isn't it? Oh god, carotid artery dissection. That's it. But this is
Very
next
good.
level. Yeah, I know. This is next level stuff. I just this quackery is kind of scary, and then we've got a few other like quackery stories to get to, but it's a self-congratulatory thing.
But imagine to congratulate yourself, you have to make up a lie. Like just pick something you've done and say, "Oh, I've done this," and maybe someone will go, "Brilliant," but he's gone, "Nah, back's not that great." But I, a chiropractor, can disrupt coronary artery plaque in a safe manner prior to the plane landing. What a dick!
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Speaking of dicks, so that well, not actually, not literally, unfortunately for some. There was a kind of a Junior Doctors UK post on Reddit that I thought we should talk about, which was about a person's historical experience of bullying. And so, if people want to look it up, so this was posted 8 days ago. So. What was 8 days ago? So on the 20th of April, and it was by fair_sprinkles on Junior Doctors UK, the subreddit. And it asked a really interesting and thought-provoking question. So I'll just read out the question, which is, should I complain many years later? I'm a trainee a few years out of foundation, and I was essentially bullied by a consultant in one of my placements. And to cut a long story short, they've long since moved on. But obviously the kind of long-term effects of that bullying are still kind of bearing quite heavily on him or her, understandably. And they're just kind of wondering if there's any benefit to kind of revisiting that and trying to challenge the person sometime after the fact. They were saying in particular they didn't have a lot of evidence, so a lot of it would be their own personal account. What's your take on that?
Wow,
It's super difficult, isn't it? Because I don't know how much. I mean, is anything going to change? Is the worst bit.
Yeah.
And I know that when we grow up and you understand things and realize actually that's not right. I think there's probably a degree of they get some closure from it, but I struggle to see how it would help. I don't know. Also, I wouldn't know how you'd go about it either, because I imagine people would say, "Oh, that's just there's no evidence," and that person's just going to carry on being a twat all the time. That's Imran. Imran's there with the beep.
Yeah, you could just superimpose the beat backwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, Chris, do you have anyone that you want to complain about on the podcast?
Oh yeah, loads. Well, no, I mean, I think I sort of agree with Jamie. I think really, because I mean, it's happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to loads of people.
Yeah.
I haven't sat on it. I've let it fester away inside. And then I've become really bitter about it. But the way I got it, like you say, it's for closure for me. I'd love to do it. but
Yeah.
it's a lot of hassle trying to find the correct channels via which to do it, particularly if it's really retrospective. And I mean, is it going to go anywhere? It's just going to...
Yeah.
It's got the potential to drag up a lot of grief for no real benefit. So I just talk shit about people. I talk shit about them after they've long gone, and just make sure that everyone new who comes in knows they were an arsehole. So again, there's no winner in that either, except me. And even I haven't really won, but it's worth it.
Yeah. And the patient's like, I just came for a pacemaker check. But
there was a guy here who was a complete...
Yeah, fair enough. I do think, though, I mean, isn't the fact that you might feel a bit better about it enough? Like, especially if you know that there's not going to be any blowback. So this person's left, so maybe... But yeah, you're right, I guess, trying to dredge it up and maybe trying to get a response. But say if it was a case of putting it all down, like in an email, and clicking send, and maybe that would help on a kind of therapeutic level.
Yeah. I agree. I don't think there's any... I'd like to do it, but I guess it's... I think if you've got the wherewithal and the drive to get it done, like it will benefit other people if that person finds out that maybe they have made such like a negative impact in someone's life, because nobody deserves that.
I think I did have an instance of a colleague who had a repeated history of just bullying a female consultant, and was bullying just loads and loads of female juniors, just one after the other, and she had like real form for it. And I think what ended up happening was there were just so many complaints. I think it just ended up being a thing. So I guess if someone else complains a bit further down the line, I think someone else put it in the junior doctor's thread, that if someone else complains, well then if someone wanted to use evidence, they could say, yes, there was form, and you could kind of make more of a case. So it might not be you but... Yeah,
no, that's fair. That's a good point. Yeah. All right, I withdraw what I said.
I'm stealing the top voted comment.
Yeah, no, my mind's instantly changed, to be fair. Yeah, no, that's a really good point.
Yeah,
fair enough. I should probably credit whoever said that on Reddit. Whoops! So I'll take the credit. I'm happy to do that. Speaking of like posts that kind of did generate a lot of interest and were kind of complaining about people. That's not a really nice way to put this, because it's actually a really important tweet. So from Jenny Pusey, so she tweeted.
Jesus Christ!
Sorry, no. Why did I put it that way? I really respect. In fact, God.
I was looking at it thinking, which one does he mean? And then...
God, Imran. Oh, what am I doing? I'm so sorry. So anyway, Jenny, no, you did the right thing. This. I don't know what I'm saying, please. But anyway, someone else read this out. Can you read this out? What Jenny said.
So POV, you sent a rota with an extra weekend each with no extra pay because they forgot to rota enough people for the first time round, but everyone declined because they weren't given required 6 weeks notice, and I've already planned our lives. And they've said, the email says, several of you have replied indicating you're unable to cover our shifts. I don't know why they talk like this.
They do.
I have now been in discussion with HR, they do, and employer relations, and I have, I can't read now, have advised that there's clear expectations that you should honour these shifts. These clinical sessions are within your compliant rota, and you're being paid to work these hours. The expectation is you will work these sessions.
It's bullshit, isn't it? I mean, that's a disgrace.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I like the response from Jabberwock951, great name. Expect away, but with less than 6 weeks notice, they can't force you to provide cover. And then Karen has come in with some receipts, didn't she, for that one? But interestingly, the person who sent that email, even though it's been posted completely anonymously, Jenny has gone on to say, the sender of the email demanded we work additional shifts with no notice and no pay, has launched a formal grievance against me for sharing the email without their permission. The audacity to treat juniors like that, then get upset when they're called out. That's amazing, isn't it? Because literally so they're not identifiable, and they've gotten upset because their behaviour has been called out. Isn't that? But is that just like pure NHS life?
Imagine grassing on yourself like that. Like no one would have known that's who it was. Yeah. But I mean, someone underneath the original tweet has said, why are doctors so reluctant to name and shame hospitals that look after their doctors so badly? Well, I mean, this is why, because now there's a formal grievance that should be in place anyway.
Basically, that person's gone, hey, there's someone shown me to be a...
So true.
Just show them who they are. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'd be really cross.
Yeah, absolutely. So Karen, she's kind of put in a really useful slide from the junior doctor's contracts. So she posted it on the 20. Oh, it's a retweet of a time when she posted it before. So the original post was in January the 28th, and it was at 3:15 p.m. and it was posted by @Dr_KM_. And it says the keywords here are if they are safe or able to do so. So if you're unable to do so, then they cannot force you against your will. And I guess then people talk about what if you are safe or able to do so really means. And apparently unions have discussed this. And you cannot be safe or competent by virtue of having done the full week. So if you're tired, then that's unsafe. And you can also be unable to do it if you have plans. So the short answer is still no.
That's something I used to do all the time when people asked me to do things that weren't in my rota. It's like, sorry, I've got plans. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not in the country. I was in the country. I was right down the road. But...
I'm always lying when I say I've got plans as well. Yeah, it's not quite as glamorous, but say, I've got plans. Yeah, I don't. I'm doing nothing.
Yeah,
but I just don't want to. Yeah. It's a little bit nicer.
I've got PlayStation to play.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Fair enough. It's just easier, isn't it? It cuts the conversation short. Have you ever had anyone ask you though? So, what are your plans? What are you doing?
Oh, crap!
I'll say I'm starring in a drag show or something really uncomfortable.
Yeah, for my balls waxed.
Could be balls wax. Could be. Why not?
Yeah,
it's going to take me all day. I'm so sorry. I can't cover that shift. I'm really sorry.
You should see. Are they pointing out? Are they?
I'm like Rapunzel's, unspoken about brother.
Jesus.
It's not true.
It's not true. Thank God. I don't know why I'm saying it's not true. I don't know.
I was going to say you leapt straight to his defence there.
I know. Oh God.
I joined this call last as well. You two were already.
Well, I don't even know how to move on from that. Jeez. How do I segue? Oh God. I guess if we're talking about terrible working conditions, there was a tweet from Phil Lee about holding the medical registrar bleep. And that generates a lot of conversation because I think it's almost culturally accepted that it's terrible, right? Everyone knows it's terrible, and it's almost a parody in itself, how the ridiculousness of it can be. But you still kind of get these really funny responses to it and stuff, which I found kind of entertaining and also a little bit kind of rage provoking. This comes up from time to time, doesn't it? Oh, the med-reg bleep and whatever. Do you guys have you ever had any? Do you have any thoughts on that? Dealing with med-regs? Oh my gosh!
Tell you what,
you were doing so well.
Wait! I was like, how long? Stop talking. And so then
I was just letting you go there. Imran would have had one sentence, smooth as butter, straight in. But no, I think what I will say is, from what I see from registrars I work with, when they have the med-reg bleep, they don't look nice at all. They look like they've literally had enough. For things I see on Twitter, that is the main thing that proves to me that I was right to do my job instead of trying to do yours.
No, fair enough.
Literally, that on its own is enough for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I have heard so many people who've said something along the lines of, I really like cardiology, but I wouldn't want to be a medical registrar. And of course now, in cardiology training, our curriculum's changed very recently where we're kind of dual accrediting in general medicine, which may not have implications for a future job role in terms of covering the medical take. I suspect it probably will do. But it also means that people will be committed to doing more general medicine. And I feel like that's going to have a negative impact on...
I mean, almost every single person knows that med-reg is one of the worst jobs. Well, that's how it's perceived, isn't it?
Yeah.
That med-reg is the worst job in the hospital.
I think the nicest story I've ever read of someone holding that bleep has said, I got away half an hour late. That was it. Everything else has been bad.
Yeah.
I think Jacob DeWolf, he did a post, he replied saying ward cover's probably worse. And I'm inclined to agree that's also pretty bad. Being an F1 on ward cover, it's just a zoo out there. It's just a zoo. So I guess there's that. But there are some people being like, oh, it's not so bad. And there are often people who aren't quite medical registrars anymore. I mean, that's not all the case, but there are a few people who are not med-regs anymore saying, oh, it's not so bad. And I'm like, really though? You're not doing it. Do you want to cover some of those rota gaps? There are loads of them.
It's not so bad is quite a telling phrase, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like the beatings, they take a rest every couple of swings.
Yeah. God.
Sorry, dude. That sort of sentiment
No.
can apply to quite a lot of med Twitter, though, can't it? There's people saying how shit something is, and then people who either haven't done it yet or don't do it anymore say the opposite. They go, no, it's fine.
No, it's fine. What are you talking
I'm
about?
more inclined to believe the people that are actually doing it right now.
That helps me segue quite nicely onto another bit of mansplaining, I suppose. And that was a tweet from, there's Alexandra Thompson. She's not mansplaining, just to explain. She says that every time, God, I tell a pregnant woman I had an elective cesarean, and they say, I don't know you could ask for that we are massively failing women for not telling them their choices. And the reason why this is a segue is because there were some people saying, well, having a C-section is a choice and blah. It was just, oh God, can you comment on this? Because I feel like I shit on all the time. He's such a dick, isn't he?
Like, you anonymised that reasonably well. Like, for one sentence, and then just outed him straight away the next. We knew who you were talking about, yeah. But there were some responses.
Yeah, God.
From certain individuals.
Yeah, individuals. Oh my word.
Yeah.
But again, there's always you know the tweets that you'll see his replies under, always, and it's stuff like that, stuff that he's got no business getting involved in, and then literally because it's not part of his actual business.
When is he going to have a C-section? It's not him that's going to have to go through it. It's not him that's birthing, has the option of either pushing a child through a birth canal or having it torn open, well, not torn, cut open through your abdomen. It's quite, that's a big choice. Those are not great choices either way.
Yeah, but
whatever you choose,
he's a man.
Fine.
He's a man, so
he's got opinions.
Oh yeah, that's
it.
So we got manly opinions to share.
He's got to tell everyone. He's got to tell poor, simple women how they should be thinking. That's,
While they're wearing their husband's shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh God.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Did you not see that?
Oh, I did. I feel like you have to explain that, otherwise that sounds really odd.
So if people didn't see this, it was. Yeah, just wearing women's. That's it. We're leaving it there. No, so it was a thing from Facebook where some group.
It was a Christian group, wasn't it?
Christian group got these women to come in wearing their husband's shoes. And they said they struggled to show, and it was showing that the husbands the shoes they have to walk in, things they have to go through. No, they just got bigger feet. And I also thought, in the other way around, if the husbands came in wearing the wives' shoes, they would struggle too. And also, it'd be pretty funny.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, painful.
I was going to say,
I don't think on my ankle.
The physical analogy does not work at all.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's silly, isn't it? Yeah, that was really stupid as well, wasn't it? I think although it would really highlight how small my feet were if I had to do that. And I wouldn't...
You're going to have to out yourself now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, how big
tiny
are your
hands and
feet?
tiny feet. Yeah, tiny. No, actually, they're size 10.
Oh.
That feels like a lie. There was a lot of... I'm a 10?
How's that?
10's normal.
10?
Oh, child size 10, wasn't it?
No. It is. I'm a size 7 gloves and size 10. 10's small. I mean... 10, but I'm small for a 10. Yeah. I'm 10. Isn't it 10? I don't know. I've never taken it out and compared it with other people. Are we still talking about shoes? Or?
We are. I don't know. I mean, that entire sentence suggests you're not.
I feel like we mentioned penis a lot the last time, and now it's come up again a lot.
I'm obsessed.
Bloody hell, what is wrong with us?
But I feel like
let's go back to women's bodies.
We should. Let's go back to that.
Yeah.
But I do feel like one of the things that we should answer, because it was PR gaslighting, was that he made this implication that C-sections were somehow more expensive, and so it was out of some kind of weird concern for the taxpayer. But even when Alexandra followed up with evidence to suggest that in fact saves money in other ways, he just was doubling down with, but it's the doctor's choice and stuff. And it just seemed to me no matter what kind of response was put forward to this person, that this person was not going to change their mind. And to me, it kind of seemed like it was because this was rooted in just misogyny.
Well, yeah, because your response to him, I've just seen, he didn't reply to that, oddly.
Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah. I've noticed these people, they're always the same. They pick, they have a very specific demographic that they will reply to and belittle. And it's not dudes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think someone replied with saying their ankle, and you couldn't choose an ankle replacement or something, and he's like, you can't. I'm like, well, people do get say, people do get say on stuff like that. And I said that like some people will often, even though we'll recommend a bypass operation, they'll say, I don't want that. You know, I'll have multiple PCIs, which means multiple admissions to hospital, as in multiple presentations. And the equipment that we use often ends up being way more expensive, and it does carry more risk. And we know that, but we do that because we're not it's not parental anymore. Like, it's supposed to be about patient autonomy and respecting their wishes. Right. So we should be listening to women, surely. Well, you get sorry, Jamie.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And this is the cesarean thing as well is a big thing as well, because of there wasn't that case about the increased child death where they were encouraging natural births and not allowing C-section. I can't remember which trust it was.
Oh,
so there's another reason that this is
that's fairly recent, isn't it?
literally like last week.
Yeah, fair enough. It was hospital, and I can pretend I know what it was because I just used the bleep there. But like, it was yeah, nice. It was associated with worse outcomes, though. It's like a really damning report where they're kind of really over the top with pushing kind of this whole idea of natural. And for people who are listening, I'm doing inverted commas with my fingers in a really like jazzy way, just to say that like this whole kind of idea of this natural narrative is just completely bonkers. And if men, I know I say this all the time, but if men had to give birth to babies, there's no way that we'd be doing it the natural way. We'd be like, we'll have a C-section, we'll have it under GA, I'll have a PCA, and I'll be in hospital, I'll be in ITU, I'll have everything, please, you know, because but because it's women, it's like, oh, natural, like what?
Well, it's mad. He says he sort of makes these weird points as though like if it's almost like a give them an inch and they'll take a mile kind of stance he's taking. Like, but there's only so many ways this can be done. There's only so many ways someone can give birth. You're not going to say, well, do you want a natural birth? Do you want a C-section? Or do you want to push it out your nose? Like, it's not. Do you know what I mean? There's only. It's not like
only, two ways.
Yeah, I don't know what point he's trying to make.
It's weird, isn't it? You're right. Actually, you touch upon a really important point, which is I hate it when people say, "Oh, it's a slippery slope." Like, to what?
It's fucking not.
To what?
It's the same two choices. You're just now offering them.
What's going to happen next? I don't know, mate. What are you worried is going to happen?
They want to give birth on the moon.
Yeah, they want to vote. I don't know. Gosh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They want to read.
Honestly, poor women. Everything about women, everything is shame when it comes to childbirth, isn't it? It's either if you have babies, don't have babies, want babies, too many babies, breastfeed, don't breastfeed, look after your baby, don't look after your baby, whatever. They're constantly berated. The poor, honestly. Yeah,
it's interesting you mentioned that because Alexandra and Miran left Twitter for a while, didn't they? Because of, I feel like I probably shouldn't mention. Actually, maybe I'll cut that bit out because I feel like it's just generating heat that they've kind of come through, and then I sent them back. But speaking of like Dickensian attitudes, shall we move on to Jacob Rees-Mogg?
Yes, please.
I hate him. I keep seeing him on my feed, and I've blocked this guy, even though we've never interacted, but I hate him so much. I mean, you have a funny story about him. I saw a tweet about him today where he's talking about, where he had it was a screenshot of him where he had a note that he left on his civil servants' desks, basically saying, "See you when you're next in," and apparently it was a jibe against people who are working from home, which in itself is just dickish, isn't it? But you had a Jacob Rees-Mogg related story.
Oh yeah. No, I do. So I live in the West Country. I live sort of adjacent to his constituency. Weirdly, when you go there, they seem like very nice people, but they keep voting for him. Mad. But I was doing a sort of healthy eating kind of the festival thing at the Taste of Timsbury Food Festival a few years ago. And Rees-Mogg, he came around, his driver dropped him off in a big Aston.
Of course.
Yep. And he did the rounds. This was post-Brexit. So he had espoused the benefits there's a lot of farmers in Timsbury, and he'd espoused the benefits of Brexit with regards to them being able to export to other countries. And obviously Brexit came and went, and these farmers who voted for those reasons very quickly found out that was not true. So he was like shaking hands, and people were being a bit standoffish with him. And this one guy it was amazing. I watched him saunter up behind him, went, "Oh, Jacob. And Rees-Mogg turned around, "Hello," and he said, "Why are you such a fucking liar?" And then just immediately unloaded on him, and he wouldn't leave him alone. Like, it was uncomfortable, but Rees-Mogg then walked outside, because it was like an indoor and an outdoor. But he walked outside. He thought, "I'll just get away from it," A couple of this guy's mates were going, "Come on, leave it." So he thought he was safe. It turns out everyone outside hated him. So there were people owning stalls that were just telling him to fuck off. And eventually, while this was going on, there's only one way in to the Taste of Timsbury Food Festival, and it's the same as the way out. So there were a load of protesters who'd assembled themselves on the other side of the road, and as he hurriedly got in his car, said to the driver, "We have to leave, we have to leave." They were driving out, and these protesters unfurled, I think, possibly the greatest banner I've ever seen. It was really, it was on like a tarp, and they'd had it professionally printed. It looked quite expensive, and it said, "Jacob Rees-Mogg is a cowardly, lying," and then they really upped the ante, because then in big red letters it just said "bastard." And I'll never forget that sign, because it was amazing. It's like they thought, "Oh, cowardly, lying, it's not enough, but I do like them in there." Yeah, so they went, let's make a big blood red bastard on the side. Yeah, and they had a couple of photos of it, but yeah, it was amazing. And as he was leaving, there was almost like a football mob chant of "Ray!" The whole thing, it only lasted about 5 minutes, but it was surreal to watch.
Yeah, fair enough. There are a lot of the kind of Tories that I really, really dislike, but I think it's because he's so sanctimonious and officious. It's just so
he's from a different, sort of class system, isn't he? He's just, I don't know if I keep cutting out actually, but he used to go around with his nanny when he was canvassing, didn't he?
Yeah.
So
I mean, can you imagine having a nanny?
He is embarrassing, isn't he? He's just, but for some reason, what annoys me is that he doesn't think he's embarrassing. He's not embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for him because of everything he does and says. Yeah. And it annoys me. He's just not getting your money's worth out of that.
Yeah, definitely.
I know. I love this thing.
But the thing is his sister doesn't speak like him, and apparently he hasn't always spoken that way. So part of it is curated. I bet he probably goes home and like, "Whoa, that was a day, God."
Taurus.
Is that?
Oh yeah.
So she doesn't speak like him. She does enunciates.
Yeah, well...
Sorry, cut that out. That's one of the worst jokes I've ever made.
ReesMogg himself would have loved that. He would have...
That was such a Beano joke.
So speaking of people who peddle misery, anyway, there was a quote tweet from Matthew_Scott without the O, so SCTT. He's a really good account to follow. I think he calls out people. He's visceral, yeah, it's great. I'd hate to be on the receiving end of one of his quote tweets or one of his subtweets. They're incredible. Yeah. Amazing, really. So he quote tweeted Sergeant Dave Purcell, who hasn't deleted the tweet, unfortunately. And Dave is he's from the Keighley Neighbourhood Policing Team. And he said, so his tweet was from the 21st of April at 11 a.m. No.
Looks like it's from last year, isn't it?
No.
Oh, no, it's my thing.
Yes. So that's a Jumanji reference. For those who don't know. I just had to show that I knew. I just had to... I like that. I just explained your joke as well. Oh, God.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries. So anyway, Dave, he tweets saying, another early start, another 2 doors forced in Highfield. This time, Section 23 Misuse of Drugs Act warrant in search of Class A controlled drugs. Nothing found on this occasion. However, we will continue to proactively target those who peddle misery in our town. So is this a bit of a cell phone?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I laugh whenever I read this, not because of what's happened, but because he's tweeted this as though it's a massive victory. He's essentially, I even replied to him. I was just like, imagine wanging some doors fully in and then applying the caption, "We're keeping you safe." It is mad. But everything he's put in, everything about it's funny. Another early start, another 2 doors forced in. I've got up early to terrorise the local neighbourhood. So we found nothing and we've ruined your house really early in the morning. Imagine putting that on the internet. What a grass to yourself.
Exactly.
And if that's not peddling misery, imagine the misery. You'd wake up and like, who's just stoved in my door? Yeah. No, I'm sitting. You've just kicked my door in.
Well, it's mad, and they've even they've taken a close up of the sort of door frame and the hinge just to show that we really have done this door in. But you'd imagine they didn't find any drugs that morning because they've taken a picture of 2 doors and said they found nothing in either of them. Surely, if you're going to post it, if you've done something, if you found something, you'd post a picture of that victory as well. So I mean, an absolute waste of a morning. What time did he post that? 11:03.
11.
So So a couple of hours trashing people's homes for no reason, and then I'll go on Twitter for a bit.
Yeah,
Mad.
all in a day's work.
Yeah.
Uh,
The police really, they don't cover themselves in glory, do they?
no.
Not on Twitter.
Well, I've just had a look at this guy. There's actually a few videos of him,
Oh,
like the
Christ.
cost of having your Weetabix priceless, and he's there like trying to kick in a door or stove in a door, and he's doing it forever. It never seems to go in.
Oh, no way.
So he's
So he's
filmed
not even-
himself kicking it in.
So maybe that's what he was doing. He was just spending all of that morning just trying to kick those doors down. And then in the end, he's like, yes, I kicked them down. And then...
I like that, Jamie. I found the tweet you mentioned. You just said he never seems to go in. That's because it's a GIF, man. It's just looping.
I know.
That's a cell phone too.
I don't mind.
I quite like that. Sorry, man. That was couldn't resist.
So, shall we move on to Julia's tweet about private schools? I guess it
Yeah.
talks about how she said, someone told me it's weird that I call private education unfair when I benefited from it. In my opinion, it's important to acknowledge that I'm massively privileged from total financial luck. Because it's incredibly unjust that such disparity in education funding / opportunity exists. Like, yes, I did receive private education that I was put into as a child. Yes, it gave me opportunities and support that gave benefits to me others couldn't get. And is that inherently unjust? And would I be in favour of deconstructing a system that allows that inequity? Fuck yes. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Very good.
That was from Julia Sabella on April the 25th. What do you guys think of private schools? Do you like them?
I said earlier, I've experienced both, and again, the only major difference I found for me was that the field I had to do laps around was a lot bigger at the private school. Yeah, but I mean, I don't. With regard to the tweet, I don't think it's not weird for someone to call something unfair just because they benefited from it. Surely that's a good thing. That applies to loads of stuff. If it's unjust, just because you might have benefited from it, and like she says, as a child, she didn't put herself in that school.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, exactly.
And
I really agree because I did go to a private school. I went to like the backstreet end, like the school that really wanted to be a super posh school but wasn't, because it's literally in Moss Side, but it's a private school, so everyone got mugged when they went out to smoke.
I know.
But the difference between that school and another school I was considering going is, like, this one they would actively encourage, medicine, Oxbridge, all that jazz. The other one, they were more attached to an academy and going to, learning with your hands and things like that.
Right.
And it's very much. I don't know.
Sorry,
I don't know.
For some reason, I was thinking of Ghost. Like the pottery.
You went to one of the schools where Patrick Swayze sits down behind you and you make a nice vase.
Oh, yeah.
That's the dream.
No, but
That's
genuinely, I definitely benefited from it because they really pushed the people they thought were going to do really well. They really pushed them to do better and make their thing look better. And I definitely benefited from it. Definitely.
Yeah, fair enough. The funny thing is, I think with arguments like that, I think it's just kind of a way of just making a person feel undermined and stopping them from saying what they're saying. Because if you haven't gone to private school and you criticize private schools, you're jealous or you don't know about it or whatever. And if you went to private school, then you're a hypocrite. Like, you can't win. Like, it's one way or the other. And it's another, like, as well as like the slippery slope one, is those kind of attacks of like where you're coming from, which is always really strange. And that just kind of tells me that the person who's leveling that criticism just doesn't have a proper argument, and so then they decide to go after the person who's made the point. But it's not like she's got a conflict of interest. She went there, and so in fact she can see the disparity now. Like, as you say, there's a point already made. But it happens quite a lot on the internet, right, on Twitter. And I can see that there's actually like an ongoing thing right now about it. Right now, as we speak.
As we speak, live in the helicom.
So it's not made its way to kind of my little Google Keep. Well, I shouldn't give away all the secrets. That's it. But I posted it in our WhatsApp group. If you wanted our targeting WhatsApp group, I put it in there. And it's from someone who but people have opinions. People have an opinion. And I don't know. I think that until people are going to use whatever advantages there are in life if it's kind of available to them. But that doesn't mean that that's the way it should be, right? Anyway, moving on, Chris. Before I forget, I really wanted to ask, and I think it'll give you Chris, I went to ACI like last week and
Very jealous.
throughout. Yeah, and you missed my talk, man. I did a talk.
I know. One of my consultants, I was having a chat with him about it. He agreed with Rohin.
God.
Yeah, he said, "God, yeah, it was a lot of tweets," but yeah, he liked it. I think, yeah.
Mate, fair enough. But anyway, one of the things I noticed was that there were loads of people talking about kind of like cardiac scientists leaving, and that there just seems to be like a mass exodus. Scientists, yeah.
Oh God, yeah. That was very embarrassing. Oh yeah, no. So this is my profession's been in crisis mode for before I even started training. The reason there was such a big drive for recruitment was because there aren't enough of us. It's like a really specialist gig, and well, as you know, it's not something you can just sort of sling someone into in a couple of weeks. Like, it takes a long time to train. So I mean, I to gain my device specialty, my accreditation, that was a 6-hour exam after like 4 years of work. But there's even fewer of us now because, again, much like everything, private money is a lot more substantial than NHS money, and the NHS, the jobs that you're being given now, you're just having more and more things piled on you for the same money, and you think, if I'm that specialist, it's there's too much essentially. So people are looking at nice fancy locum rates. People are getting offered locum salaries. That they're more than we could ever earn in the NHS. Yeah. And you're arguably doing less work. You're coming in, you're performing a load of diagnostic scans, reporting them, and then you're going home. And you can spend that time with your family, and you're not worried about work. Like, I consider jacking it in at least twice a week. At least at least twice a week. I think, like, is there really any point in me doing it? Is this how I want to feel for the rest of my life? And then something will happen, and I'll think, no, this is why I like this job. It's a roller coaster every day, and I know that this is the same up and down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's clear is that with the shortage, that I mean, it's even more. I mean, it's already apparent before, like, how much work you guys do and how, like, diverse, like from echo, from like just managing all the stuff in the cath lab, like the stuff with the patient in the cath lab, just like everything that you do, like the level of knowledge. But it's no real surprise that there are people from industry are coming and just picking people off because they just it's so evident how talented and important you guys are, and they're just kind of picking you off to industry. It makes complete sense that there are people who recognize your worth and pinching you.
For a slight curveball, I have no idea what you do.
Well, see, this is quite nice. It's quite nice in quite a lot of the time. Nobody knows that we exist, so it's quite nice. That's beneficial in a number of scenarios, like giving people grief on Twitter or stuff like that. While you guys can get GMC'd by Johnny racist dog numbers. But nobody. Hatman said to me once. He said, "Right, well, I'm gonna report you to the GMC." So obviously, I replied and went, "Yeah, absolutely. Fill your boots, mate. Like, on you go. I'll give you the link." So I did. I gave him the link. Obviously, that came to nothing. So in that scenario, it is really beneficial. But nobody knows that the job exists unless they already work in a hospital and have had reason, have somebody in VT storm or somebody in a pacemaker mediated tachycardia that they're about to give, pump full of amiodarone. Before I have to say, please don't do that.
Well, if I can pretend for a minute, there's not just my mum and dad, my brothers that listen to the podcast. Just for people who out there who might not know what you do. So a cardiac, are you still happy with being called a physiologist? Is it called, or I've noticed that people get called scientists now. Is physiologist like? So it
depends. So physiologist trained at Westminster.
Right.
That's specifically what they did, and it was sort of a different beast.
Okay.
My degree was longer, and we get different accreditation. So it's different. One's phasing out while the other one's staying in. But
I see. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's the same essentially. But
Yeah, fair enough. So the types of things that you might see a cardiac scientist doing in a hospital, and they'll do, although some of them will kind of subspecialize and spend more time perhaps doing one thing more than the other. They often, I mean, they will be really, really good at all of these different things, which just blows my mind. So they do echo. There will be the people who perform your pacemaker checks. They're the ones that alter algorithms that help prevent VT or abnormal rhythms with the pacemaker or ICD devices. There'll be the people who look at your 24-hour tapes, looking for arrhythmias, pauses. There'll be the people in the cath lab who are monitoring your vital signs, whilst the cardiologist is kind of like has got their eyes on one thing and one thing only. They'll be like, are you happy with that blood pressure? It's 0. Or
that's the most passive aggressive. I love it. Yeah.
Are you happy with the blood pressure? Yeah.
Yeah. That's my favourite thing is to go, do you know you're in the LV though? And then I'll always get so now they beat me to it. I'll get it. Yep, seen it. I'll go, have you? Because you're still in there.
More than that, like all of the equipment, like even just getting the equipment out, or even setting up like intravascular ultrasounds, all of the kind of like all of the equipment, I would have no idea. Like if they're like literally like at the moment we're in Norwich, we're short on cardiac scientists, and so there are times where we're losing sessions because we can't run lists without them. They're imperative. And there are loads of, I remember, and then there's an EP list that I went to, and I was asking the cardiac scientist about like what the different parts, because it's not just a 12 lead ECG, it's like a million lead ECG.
Oh yeah, you got loads.
And I was like, I don't understand. And after they were, to be fair to them, they were really nice after for up till about the 5th or 6th question, which they were like, mate, you need to go read a book or something. Anyway, they do a lot. I
basically have no idea what any of those words meant. All I know is heart go thump.
Yeah, well, the scans that you and yours request for any of those, anything like that. You go, oh, this patient's got new AF that one of you lot told me about. Can you scan that? Can you look for any or like query LV, query valves? That's what I get. Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's my favourite referral because I think, all right, well, I know what you want.
LV. Do you read it? And you're like, query LV. Okay, query LV.
Well, I've asked if I can. I've asked if I can send a report back that just said, yeah, there is an LV. This patient has a left ventricle, but my boss said no. You can't. You have to do a full report.
Yeah, I mean the truth is though, like a lot of the time we're writing echo requests, and frankly we don't know. We just want to. Want you to. Are you the kind of person that? But sometimes you get reports though, and they're like, the EA gradient was this, and the dimensions were like, and I'm like, yeah, but was it normal though? Do I need to do anything on this or not? Like,
yeah, so I've got two different kinds of reports. So if I do my like if I'm doing a pacing report or an ICD report or even like a CRT report, those are big because they sort of have to be, and I almost sort of tell a story of the device is fine, this is fine, this is fine, this is what I found, this is what I've done, and then I'll have like a sort of programming rationale. So if anyone wants to come back and sort of say why have you done this, I'll already have explained exactly why I've done this. With an echo, in the main body of the report, I will go into detail on literally every single chamber, every single valve, what numbers I've seen. But I've got a very nice summary at the end that literally says the LV is non-dilated. It's of normal systolic function, and then I'll do the same for the RV. I'll say if
for God's sake, that's too long.
If the RV just gets RVs of normal size and function. If it is, then I'll say if the valves are all right, and then I'll just say atria are fine. Yeah, so it's like a 4-line summary, but for other people,
the one thing I hate the 24-hour tapes. Whenever I get 24-hour tapes appear to me sometimes, I look at them and go, I have no idea what any of this means. Can someone please just send it to cardiology? Let them to sort it out. I don't care.
I'll be honest. I don't.
Do I need to do anything with this?
For about 4 years. If I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be honest. They're beneath me. So
nice.
No, they're not. They changed the software, and I'm specialist now, so I literally don't know how it works.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I like that. So you're kind of like planned to be like planned obsolescence, like no.
Oh yeah. I mean, I could probably sort of bumble my way through the new.
Yeah, don't say that though. No. Ignorance is bliss.
My boss won't listen to this.
We'll take you. We'll put the heat on Jamie now because there's a tweet from Shan, and he was so he quote tweeted the Daily Mail, which is never going to be a good thing, is it? The Daily Mail. Yeah, exactly. Thankfully, I'm pleased when people quote tweet them when they take a screenshot, because I hate the idea of like propagating
giving them clicks.
to them. Yeah, I hate it. I hate it so much. But anyway, so the Daily Mail, they did a headline which was GPs to vote on closing their doors at just 5 p.m. The just was completely necessary. And then they've written, patient groups blast plans is unacceptable. And then Shan has said, understandably, no matter how hard we work, how many patients we see, how many unpaid roles we have, how many pay cuts we take, some members of the press will always hate us. Usually the same folks that think immigration is bad, refugees are evil, and Boris is the best PM ever. Bite me. Fair enough, Shan.
Yeah. It's a fair point.
Hard to disagree, isn't it?
Yeah. So, Jamie, what's the deal with the whole vote? Do you know like much about the background to that? Anyway?
Oh, I did hear about. I mean, to be honest, sometimes I just sit in my little room and I just ignore the world, and I don't bother. You know, I am aware that they were thinking about doing a vote for closing at 5 p.m. or at least I think it's more for there to be contracted to it, because I think the idea is a lot of us are paid by session.
Right.
Not by how many hours we do.
Oh, I see.
So often people are doing like 12-hour days, and that's just 2 sessions.
Oh, I see.
And the original idea was you start, you know, I think it was at 9 or 8 or 8:30, you know, then you finish at, say, 1, and then after that you do it 2 and then finish at 5.
Yeah.
But instead people are finishing at 8, 9,
I see.
and it's just and it's still 1 session, so you're not paid. So they're working and working and working. So people are saying we should really be paid for this.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, kinda, we should be paid.
That's not mentioned in the headline though. That's curious.
No. Well, Daily Mail with a reductive, clickbaity, outrage-inducing headline.
Shiver me
timbers.
timbers.
Thought,
Yeah. Gosh,
I refuse to believe it.
Don't get me wrong though. I'd bloody love to work just 9 to 5. I was supposed to be doing, you know, a normal day to day, and I didn't leave until, I don't know, 7.
Yeah. I was going to say, you got home after me.
Yeah. There's just loads of stuff. There's extra stuff that you just don't see. It's not just... If it was just seeing patients, I think it was like you were saying, if you just saw patients and that was it, like the locum stuff, it'd be great.
Yeah.
But you've got the other stuff, the tasks, the things patients call up with, someone just barge into your room, all that jazz.
I mean, we're on a bleak tangent, but maybe we should continue, because there was some funny stuff towards the end. And I mean, there was another bleak one from Abby Carey. I'm not suggesting she's always bleak. She's not. She's not. She's lovely. God, I'm just a terrible seguer. So Abby, though, she tweeted on the 22nd of April, and she said, "I've just heard of a junior doctor in a hospital I've worked at before being asked to make up for sick days by covering empty shifts, and I'm this close to sending an email to HR myself. Obviously, I won't, but FFS. I mean, making up sick days.
That's like literally illegal, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
I'm fairly certain that you can't legally enforce that. It's a sick day. That's a legitimate...
There is a genuine reason that whenever someone tells me that they work at the NHS and they're stressed and they just can't cope, I'm like, oh yeah, how long do you want off? Yeah, that's fine. Crack on. Yeah, because
legend.
I guarantee these, these HR people will have taken every single COVID day off when it was, oh, you've been in contact, or that's 10 days off. Yeah. Oh, you've been this, or they actually they're working from home the entire time, and they still need to isolate, so they can't go on the computer. You just know it.
Yeah.
When everyone else was in the you just know it.
You touch on an important point though about kind of giving sick leaves to colleagues, which is that kind of behaviour and being talked to in that way definitely contributes to burnout, doesn't it? Like when you treat people in that way, what do you expect will happen?
Imagine, because you're going to make people frightened to be off when they're actually sick.
Yeah.
Like, if you're sick, you're sick.
Well, actually, we do, don't we? All of us do. A lot of us will if you're sick, you're like, oh no, I'm gonna have to phone up, and we feel and everyone's gonna be on their own, and what am I gonna do? And I'm gonna feel really bad, and if I can help, I will.
Yeah.
So no, you stay home. You have your diarrhea and vomiting, and you have a lovely time.
Well, I think the interesting thing is that I remember reading an article somewhere that says that where there are countries where they don't have that culture of presenteeism, just turning up when you're sick, they actually have fewer people taking time off sick. But I think that's because if people are treated well, then
imagine that if work's nicer, you'll look forward to going there.
Who'd have thought? We're solving all of the problems right now. We're solving all of the problems.
I'll tell you what. When I was off with COVID, that was the full 10 days, and I hated every second of it because, mainly because I was ill. But when I started to feel a bit better, I was just bored. When I only had to isolate once in the 2 years, but I didn't have COVID. But I was bored. I like going to work sometimes. But
we have so many video games.
Nice.
I know. Video games.
I know, but you just get bored.
Is it too many?
Then I got a pressure sore, and I needed Hannah to come back and turn me.
My gosh, yeah. And the bed baths, oh god.
Yeah.
And gosh.
He cleans himself with a rag on a stick, just like.
So speaking about the responses, though, to kind of being treated like crap, Zach Ferguson, he was tweeting saying, he was quote tweeting Den Langor, who tweeted on the 25th of April. He said, 3 of our amazing junior doctors, all of whom I've encouraged to enter emergency medicine special training, have informed me in the last few weeks that they have secured jobs in Australia. The UK needs to sort out its pay, terms and conditions if we want talent to stay. And I really like Zach's quote, which was, when trainees leave their program, specialty or country, I'm reminded of a conversation Reverend Lovejoy has in that Mr. Smarkle episode of The Simpsons. So you know it's going to be a gem because he's quoting The Simpsons. And he goes, the system doesn't need to ask what it did to lose the trainees. It needs to ask what it did to keep them. I quite like a pithy quote like that.
That is good.
Yeah.
It's the same as why my lot are all leaving in droves. Again, pay and conditions. Sort those out, and people won't want to go anywhere else. It's not even just about money. Like, if you make work a nice environment, then with pretty much all the things we've discussed today, it just sort those out, and you make being there nicer. It makes it more worth it. It's really not difficult, and I don't know why the powers that be are just content just for everyone to fuck off, but then they complain that they haven't got any.
If you make people feel valued, they're going to stay.
Exactly.
And one of the ways of doing that is obviously pay, but otherwise it's like hot food at night. It's having somewhere to sleep or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, they'd rather we just get burnout. This has got very bleak, hasn't it?
It has.
Let's talk about games.
Yeah, we should do. We're getting there. Look, I saw a really good tweet today, actually, from Omid Jalili. He was saying, look, everyone's really negative about the government, but if you think about it, the fuel in my car, which was worth £65 a few years ago, is now worth £90. So when you think about it, it's not such a bad thing.
I really like him.
That is good.
So your Chinese food still hasn't turned up, Jamie. What the hell's going on?
It did turn up. I muted the thing so the dog didn't bark. Yeah, it turned up.
Fair enough.
That's wizard.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice. So seamless, and then I drew attention to it. Sorry. Okay, so Alan,
that's all right.
Alan at ARCL, so I feel like we should out whoever this person is. He goes, for educational purposes, I've been tasked to find out if this gas man is attractive. He's tweeted a post from Junior Doctors UK who is saying that there's someone on social media who they have a massive crush on, and they're an anaesthetics reg, and apparently he chairs webinars, and so, yeah. Do you know who they could be talking about? This is where we're supposed to volunteer someone who we think it might be. I mean, they probably aren't on Twitter. They're going to be on Instagram, aren't they? I guess they're going to be better looking.
Oh, I mean, all the sexy people are on Instagram, aren't we? We're the Dodd bit,
the millennials,
the bits you throw in. Yeah,
the dregs.
We're the Mr. Potato Head versions.
Fair enough. For God. So do you not have any suggestions? You must have a suggestion for who you might think is a fit anaesthetics reg. Oh, you said Dave Jones.
Sorry. Yeah, I think it's Dave Jones.
Dave Jones.
And he's on telly a lot.
Fair enough. Does he do webinars? Okay, fair enough.
Did you see his? Did you just see his picture and go, yeah, fair enough?
Yeah,
fair enough. It really is.
Yeah,
he's a good looking.
I mean, he is good looking. He did actually once tweet something saying that podcasts about med Twitter are like farts in a bag or something, a balloon. And I was a bit like, what? And then I thought he was talking about us, and he's like, no, I've never heard your podcast. So I was like, wait, that's a double whammy. So he's not even talking about me, but I've been caught in the crossfire.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but I've muted him because I think he's a bit unpleasant. I think he's a bit dreary, and I've seen him quote tweeting people a bit aggressive. Quote tweeting a bit aggressily.
That's some aggressive quote tweeting you're doing there.
I'm so sensitive, aren't I? But there you go.
You're cyberbullying people.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I'm being too sensitive. But I'm going to put it out there that Mark Fadd, he's a good-looking anaesthetics reg. He's got good facial hair. There you go.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Okay. No, fair enough.
Yeah, he's a pretty guy.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, I guess
And,
he
you know-
probably does have a partner. I think he does, doesn't he?
Yeah, fair enough. And he hasn't
Yeah.
aggressively quoted anyone, to my knowledge, so he's already up in my estimation. Can we talk about one more bit of nonsense though before we kind of move
Yes.
on to? So Bethan, big fan. She wrote, "What the f? What the have I just read?" That's literally how she's put it though. I hope to God I don't work with people who go along with this. And she's tweeting about an actual lecture that happens at King's, I think. Is it at King's? Yeah, PowerPoint King's. And it's talking about functional disorders. Basically, there's all kinds of stuff in inverted commas, which makes it sound like they're not really believing people. Like they're like, oh God, it feels cringe even to read it out.
Some of the bits are just really, really unpleasant. So talking about, functional somatic disorders, your irritable bowel, your fibromyalgia, etc., etc. And some of the things like advantages it may hold for them. They may get some financial gain, or they may get extra support and things like that, or unwanted excuse for avoidance, so they don't have to have unwanted sexual attentions.
Oh God!
I mean,
the thing is,
who's written this?
I know. Isn't this? I feel
I
like
stopped
this
reading
is the
before
type...
I got to that bit. Jesus.
Mate, it gets worse.
That's a bit brutal.
There's a whole thing, and to be honest, when I was reading it, I was like, this can't be real, because they've literally called the rehab thing the gaslight model, and I was like, this has got to be a joke. Why would you call it gaslighting?
way.
That doesn't make any sense. You're like admitting to making them feel like they're being
Again,
crazy.
that's someone else who's grasped on themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
And doesn't this to me just smacks of someone who, like, for a lot of people, like, these things are difficult to understand. Like, there are lots of specialists and things clinic for. And rather than saying, I find this hard to understand, or I'm not up to date on the literature, just blaming the patient and making out that they're crazy. That's essentially what's happened. And the truth of the matter is that these are things that we still unfortunately just don't know enough about. But I think it was an interesting thing that we've kind of learned from COVID, which is like the kind of post-viral effects of having COVID, and then people saying, maybe this could be the case for like chronic fatigue syndrome. And people being like, yes, we've been saying this for a long time, but you weren't believing us. You're just telling us we're crazy.
Yeah.
It's just
it's a very old school way of doing it. This is just calling it hysteria, isn't it?
Yes,
and
that's
providing them with vibrators, isn't it?
I do like on the first slide they list chronic back pain as one of the things. That would be why. Because obviously it's getting completely poo-pooed here, so that would be why chiropractors are going into interventional cardiology.
Sorry, it's just that, did we just skirt over the fact that Jamie talked about giving people vibrators? What's that about?
Yeah, you must have heard that.
No.
I don't know if
Yeah, who's
have you not heard they used to? That's I'm sure that's right. Either this is a myth or it's true. But vibrators were invented by doctors to treat hysteria. I'm gonna have to look it up now.
Wait, what? Who was giving? So what? Doctors were prescribing vibrators on the NHS? Is that what you're saying? Doctors prescribing vibrators. This is going into my Google history.
Sorry, can I just repeat? Jamie said either this is a myth or it's true.
This is a myth or it's true.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Vibrator from medical tool. Oh, you're right. It was a medical tool. And it used to be prescribed. But I take it all back, Jamie.
Yeah, that's put you in your place.
It has.
See.
And so just we looked on, just in case people wanted to brave the vibrator from medical tool to revolutionary sex toy, and there's a BBC article on it, and it's from I think they're kind of talking about an exhibit in the Science Museum, although it was a couple of years ago now, and they were saying that it was a treatment for hysteria. Interesting.
Yeah.
1904.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, stretching back to the 1800s, electric vibrators were heavily marketed in magazines, periodicals, medical literature, and newspapers. There you go. Educational.
There you go. There you go. That's some CBD points for you, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, she's hysterical. Get out of the way.
Yeah. There'll be one guy at the back in the mess. I've got just a thing. Last drag of his cigarette, chucks it out the window. That's right. Yeah, I've got just a tool for the job here.
It's gonna be the ENT reg. Yeah, fair enough. I don't know why I'd be there. I don't know. Anyway, oh my god, we still have one more depressing topic, which is smacking. Should we talk about that? Because I know why I put this in. It's because a GP tweeted about it, and she's got over 10,000 followers. But I think it was like a rabbit's hole looking at her profile, because I clicked on that and then suddenly
it's just everything that is just bad was on that.
Yeah, like a bit anti-vax.
It's an account that's just it's
transphobia.
built on devil's advocacy, and it's just like whatever is in the news, she'll go, yeah, but is it that bad?
Yeah.
And essentially, and then just go, I'm just asking questions. I'm just starting a debate. Like, no, you're not. You've literally said smacking's all right because it doesn't leave a mark.
Yeah. Yeah.
God.
But then
It's
a load
just,
of people called her a like fucking bell end and stuff, and she blocked them. And you're like, that doesn't leave a mark either. That doesn't leave a mark, and you're not happy with that. So
that's true.
or shut up. Yeah.
Yeah, the smacking thing I really don't agree with at all. It's like imagine being a kid and the only person you care that like you love and trust, you ultimately hits you because you've done bad. That means either one, they're not going to parent you, or they're getting aggressive at you, because some people, it escalates, doesn't it? It's a slippery slope.
I think
smack.
I think that might be fair. I think that's probably fair enough.
But it genuinely is, because it gets more and more aggressive, doesn't it, on these kids, and it's awful, and people end up resenting their parent, and it's not nice. And I saw a really good I can't remember who it was now. I think it was Bella who had a really good screenshot of it, and it was basically, it had a picture of someone smacking their child, and they were covered in handprints themselves, and it's like, the woman that's getting abused that doesn't realize that she's being abused because she deserved it, and that's what she had when she was a kid, and things like this, that it goes up, follows you all the way to adulthood, to thinking it's all right to have high gas prices or high train prices.
high grass prices, did you say?
Gas. I don't know why I said gas. It's the grass here is bloody expensive.
No, it's laid back.
But like, I think it's funny that people kind of debate it. Don't they say so? Like, some people say, I was smacked and I turned out fine. What do you think about that when people say that?
I think they didn't.
Yeah,
I think
they didn't. Because you think smacking's okay, and therefore that's not fine. So.
Well, I mean, one of the things I was thinking is, I mean, a lot of boomers were smacked.
Yeah.
And they're not fine. No, I'm joking.
Wow.
I'm joking. But I think there's a degree of, like, it was everything was great. Nostalgia was, I deserved it. No one deserves it. No one deserves getting hit, really.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, fair enough. I mean,
disagree.
I was smacked, and I smacked a lot. I was smacked so much, and I don't think it's fine. And the people who say it's fine, I'm like, yeah, but that's not good. Like, that's not fine, and then people say stuff like, but then what if the children can't talk and they can't understand? And it's like, how are they going to interpret being smacked if they can't use language anyway? Like, what? So like, but that's the language everyone understands. Violence, like a poor child is just gonna be like, that's even more confusing. Surely, it just. I just don't get how they're seemingly like sensible people who are like, and the thing that got me is someone pointed out that in England it's illegal for you to kind of hit your dog, your pet, but you can hit a child. You can smack your child. And it's like, oh, okay. And I wonder if that like sums up a generation anyway of people who like treat their pets better than they do some human beings.
It's weird. I saw one of the accounts that was replying to that going, no, it's fine. Like, smacking, it's a legitimate parenting technique. Scrolled down a few tweets of theirs, and they were saying that violence was never the answer to that Oscars slap. So, why is it not all right? Why do you think it's all right that you can batter your kid, but Chris Rock can't get a clip? Like, is it all or nothing? Do you know? And like you, I mean, I got my ass tanned when I was a kid, and I like to think I turned out all right. Doesn't mean I think that that's all right. Like, I'm never going to do that.
Imagine the guilt. I mean, I've never even kind of like thought about hitting Lils, but I remember when we were kind of going through some math stuff, and I think I must have just taken a tone where I just seemed really disappointed with her because she started to cry, and I just was like, oh my gosh, like I felt so bad. I was like, and that was just from using slightly stern words or something, or maybe having like resting bitch face. I don't really know, but that disappointment made her cry, and I felt like for days afterwards, I was like, I feel absolutely terrible. And so I just can't understand like how you can beat your kid who you love. You must love. Sure.
She's played you there, mate.
Yeah,
she's absolutely. I bet she was absolutely fine after 20 minutes, and you spent days stressing over it. Yeah,
mate,
she didn't give a shit.
She got everything that week. She was just like, oh,
this is great. I'm gonna cry more.
Mate, she got so many treats those next few days. Seriously, me just over. But speaking of like people rinse, like there's this guy online who he is just so. There's a quote tweet from Iman Joshi, And I think this guy is frankly stacked. She's tweeting a video from TikTok of this guy called Liver King, who, look, frankly, is ripped, isn't he? I mean, he is amazing. But he's this video that she's tweeted, I've not heard of him before, is this primal diet where he's basically just eating killed animals like raw and stuff, right?
Yeah, there's videos of him like just tucking into, like tearing raw meat apart with his teeth. He looks like a feral dog. Yeah, it is absolutely insane. And I'll tell you now, he got that big without using all the stuff that he's trying to flog on his Instagram. There's no way that he's bilked a load of gullible pricks out of their money. That's what he's doing. Because you get like that through like legitimate diets or gear. Right. That's exactly. So
I'm
my money's on
sure
gear.
It's gear.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, and it's just vile though, isn't it? All of it, the things he's making these kids. And can you imagine? I like how he didn't show the kids' faces.
I know.
They pull that. Come on, kids, here you go. Here's your sheep's head, and the kids probably like, oh.
Yeah, I know. Laws is like, I just want a cream egg. Oh, sorry, not a cream egg. Yeah, I just want like a chocolate bar that we can agree on. It's because I had a cream egg earlier. It's not a jibe against you, Chris.
That's all right.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I know.
No, you don't lie. Don't lie. Yeah. I saw it. The photos of it in motion going downwards.
Do you know what was in that bin bag? Nothing. Do you know how I know that? Because I put it in there.
To take a picture.
Well, yeah. I wanted to annoy a lot of people that a lot of people were kicking off at the last tweet I made. It like saying, "Oh, you should be cancelled for this." I was like, over a fucking chocolate egg. Don't worry about it. So, yeah, it was free. I ate it.
First. My own, like you and my own daughter, just playing me emotionally. I just can't keep up. I just don't know what's real anymore.
Kick off, and I was digesting.
You sit there munching a cream egg.
I was eating a chocolate egg that I neither wanted nor enjoyed, but I ate it because it was free. It's disgusting, but it's free, so I will have it.
I love a cream egg. I don't care what anyone says.
We've got so many, mate. I got so excited.
Have you?
Yeah, literally. I must have bought maybe 40 or 50 of them. I bought so many because they're on offer, and now, well, I'm eating them. So I guess that's all that can happen if you buy so many, right? But the children can't eat more. Yeah. So this guy. So we don't believe his diet, and just I don't know. Don't eat occasional cream eggs and.
Just eat what you want, be happy. Yeah, don't get kidney failure from eating pure meat all the time.
Yeah. He lists himself as the CEO of the ancestral lifestyle. That's what it is.
Oh my word!
Have you ever heard anything more wanky than that?
That's pretty awful.
I'm gonna have to get the beep out because he sounds like an absolute cunt.
Mate, we still
heard that. Perfectly timed. Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, yeah. We heard the whole word. It wasn't even like it was implied. Yeah, it was like the whole word.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Well, we've come up to time. Thank you. Thanks for ending on that bombshell. Do you have any famous last words or anything for the end of the podcast that you'd like to? Any notes of wisdom?
No, but I will actually take this to plug. There's 2 Band 7 scientist jobs going at my department. One for Echo, one for devices. Please, please help me.
Where do you work, mate? You haven't told them.
Oh yeah, of course. So I work at the Royal United Hospital in Bath. That would help, wouldn't it?
So
it's a small team, but we're all very nice.
Yeah, that's cool. So you get to work with Chris. Big job.
Exactly, and I'm just as irritating in real life as I am.
And Jamie, do you want to plug anything? A book deal?
Nah, I haven't got a book deal. I mean, Chinese is perfectly adequate gains. Don't eat raw sheep head.
Nice. Good. Well, thank you so much to the mum and dad for listening. And in the meantime, I think Imran's back next week. So you'll be more along the straight and narrow. So just hold on, guys. I'm really sorry in the meantime. Take care and God bless everyone. And oh God, there we go. Okay, I'm ending it now. Bye.